Welcome to day 531 of our Web3 journey. I'm Ed Krasenstein, here with my twin brother Brian. And remember, these videos are being sponsored by NFT Tech. They are an investor in DeSoFi. DeSoFi, of course, is the Web3 mobile app built on the DeSo blockchain. So, Brian, what's GameStop up to? We know they're getting into crypto, into NFTs. What's the latest with GameStop?
Yeah, they're also basically the first meme stock that took off a couple of years ago and is still well above probably the value it should be at. But GameStop partnered with FTX in their quarterly report yesterday, which they actually didn't meet expectations. They announced that they were partnering with FTX, and the stock is up like 10% after the report came out, which just goes to show that partnering with crypto companies certainly isn't a bad idea if you want your shares to go up. And it just kind of plays into the whole meme stock, I guess, air about GameStop. But during their quarterly report, they disclosed this. Of course, GameStop launched their NFT marketplace back in July, and it's still in beta, but it's definitely something to check out. It takes a little bit of different of approach than some other marketplaces. But GameStop said in their release that in addition to collaborating with FTX on new e-commerce and online marketing initiatives, GameStop is also going to begin carrying FTX gift cards in select stores. So the market likes this. The meme stock market appears to like this because they missed their earnings report, but the stock's up significantly. So we'll see what happens. I think GameStop's just kind of trying to play to the crowd, play to the meme crowd, and it's working thus far.
Yeah, and I don't think you can say they're not worth or they're worth more than they should be because they're worth what people are willing to pay
Yeah.
for. But I think I understand what you're saying based on earnings.
From a fundamental standpoint, I have a hard time uh, equating what they're doing to the value that their shares are seeing right now.
Yeah, so moving on to the DeSo blockchain, Nader made a post late last night responding to another post by Mario Nawfal. Mario made a post saying that he thinks DeSo should, quote, just focus on DeSoFi. And he said that he thinks they should forget DAO, they should forget the bells and whistles, and even forget NFTs for now. I don't know if I agree with what Mario said. I think, I think focusing on one app is just going to take you back to the days of BitClout, and you're just going to line yourself up for the same failure that BitClout had back then. But Nader replied, and he said, quote, I always appreciate feedback like this. I'm excited to share an updated roadmap, hopefully end of this week or early next, that should shed some light on what Core has been working on and allow us to discuss what we should prioritize more heavily. So I think this is a good thing. I think we're going to finally see this roadmap that's been being talked about. The community is going to see what's coming, what's being prioritized, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, and I have to agree that Mario brings up some good points, and
Yeah.
maybe I don't agree completely with what he said. I think that the underlying message of it is definitely something that the core team needs to take note on it. And I think that's just that they may have spread themselves too thin. They're going in multiple directions, whether it's DAOs, NFTs, whatever else they're rolling out, and they just didn't focus on the core product, which is, of course, a decentralized social blockchain. And whether you just focus on one app or not, I think it's definitely important that you focus on multiple apps. DeSoFi is amazing. I think DeSoFi is a great mobile app, but I think there's other directions that apps can go in, and I think that that's having multiple apps is showing off how powerful DeSo is. If you just have one app, you're not really showing the users the spectrum that's possible, being able to log into dozens of possible apps with one social identity all on chain and bringing up all your posts. So we definitely need multiple apps. We need multiple different types of apps. But great points by Mario, but a great response by Nader as well.
Yeah, and I mean, DeSoFi is an amazing app. I love it. I use it. It's truly a really great mobile app built on DeSo. But at the same time, I think Pearl and Story and even Gem Story and Zircles and Vibe Hut and Open Prosper and even our project NFTZ. I think they all give you a shot at bringing different people onto DeSo. So I think you can't just focus on one. I think you have to focus on getting the word about all these different apps and nodes out there, because some people might not like DeSoFi. Maybe they don't want to be making those Twitter like posts. Maybe that's just not for them, and they want to do something more like Instagram and use Pearl, or something more like Snapchat and use Story, or something more like completely different like Gem Story or Zircles. I think I think you have to focus on at least some of the better products built on the blockchain.
Yeah, and I just want to add, I think that Natter's job and the core team's job is giving tools to developers to go in all these different crazy directions, not going in all these different crazy directions themselves.
Good points. Good points. So yesterday, Dylan Jagger Lee made a post, and it got mixed feedback. I thought it was very bullish. He said, "Every time I get together with the team, my mind is blown. I really think the entire community is going to be super excited once things start rolling out. For what it's worth, no one, and I mean no one, is building for the future like DeSo. Sure, we may not be as vocal and shouting from the rooftops about things, but wow, the squad is building and getting ready for the takeover." I think it was a really positive message. I he mentions we're not screaming from the rooftops, but I personally think we should be screaming from the rooftops. That's how you're going to bring people over here. It was a positive post. I like what he did. I think he has insight into things that we don't, because he's close to the core team. Some of the community members were begging for more info, and justifiably so. People want to know what's going on. They kind of feel like Dylan Jaggerly's post was a bit of a tease, like, oh, somebody gave an example, I forget who. Oh, I'm going to this awesome party today, Brian. This party's gonna be so cool. It's gonna be the best party of 2022. But sorry, you're not invited. I think that's how some people felt. Like, I'm telling you about this great party, but I'm not gonna tell you. I'm not gonna tell you the details. And I think we had to keep in mind that Dylan is working with the core team. He has a firsthand look on things that we don't. For example, he's probably has the ability to test out MetaMask. Maybe he has the ability to even test out some of the association stuff. He has the ability to see things that we don't, and see how the core teams really focus on getting this stuff done. So I think he's just sharing that motivation that he's seeing, and that those positives that he's seeing. So thanks, Dylan. Thanks for keeping the spirits positive, and can't wait to see what everybody's been working on.
Well, and I think what he's trying to do is just keep us excited, because he realizes that we are kind of in this lull and there isn't much excitement on DeSo right now. And he just wants you to say, hey, just hang in there for a little bit. Things are going to change. Things are moving in the background. We're just not quite ready yet. And on that note, I think that they're going to be ready very, very, very soon. I'm guessing within the next 7 to 10 days. So I think we're going to start seeing changes. And
Yeah,
but I totally understand where some people are coming from. They're just frustrated. I mean, I'm even a little bit frustrated. I mean, I noticed that our posts don't get as much engagement. And I just go to think, like, if our posts aren't getting this much engagement and we have this many followers, like, what's the average user saying? Probably not very much engagement at all. So it is frustrating being here for 540 days or 530 some days. Uh, I would have expected more, but at the same time, we're really early, maybe too early. And we just got to hang in there and be patient.
Yeah, and I mean, I agree. Like, you keep the community motivated. We just did it with NFTZ this morning. We made a post saying that we're working on a brand new UI with some additional features and all new dark mode. But we're not telling you when it's coming out. We're not telling you any of the smaller details with it, because we realize that we don't have a specific date. Like, we want to get this done as soon as possible, but we're also looking for feedback from the core team in order to make the product better before we release it publicly. So we don't know exactly what it's going to encompass. We don't know the exact date it's going to be released, but we want to keep the community excited about NFTZ. So I definitely see where he's coming from with that.
Yeah, under promise, overachieve. I think that some people sometimes overpromise and underachieve. So we want to stay
Good
away from
point.
that.
Yep. So yesterday in our video, we discussed daily active users and how a vast majority of them appear to be bots based on the fact that they just have one transaction. And we said, maybe a diamond or like there could be a one transaction. So Lil Sethi replied, or he made his own post in regards to this. And he said that he provided some really good stats. And he said that daily active wallets with 10 plus transactions are just 300. He said there are single transaction wallets that are valid, but 10 plus transaction wallets that are bots. So, there are some of these wallets that have one transaction per day, and they are real accounts. They're not bots. They're not, set up just to profit off of name squatting. He said all top active accounts are bots, though. So all the the very top active accounts, they are in fact bots. Can be
Are
expected
we a
because
bot? Are we bots?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think so.
Let me get a magnet, see if it sticks to me. It doesn't stick. I don't think I'm a bot.
Okay.
Anyhow, he said that daily active users and daily active wallets are actually different because each user can have multiple wallets. He said he has two. Based on wallets with 10 plus transactions and each user having more than one wallet, Salil said that daily active users seem to be between 200 and 300. He said you could double this to get an upper bound and there would be about 400 to 600, but that's still super low and pretty discouraging, to be honest. He also said that at this point, there's no technical innovation on DeSo that excites him. But he also said that DeSo doesn't need technical innovation. He said DeSo needs other business building activities. He specifically focused on marketing activities, and he doesn't mean just talking about marketing. He means actually doing the marketing. He said it needs to be nonstop and relentless until we reach the goals that we want to reach, and that's super high daily active users. So I think it was a really informative, really insightful post by Salil, not as positive as a lot of people probably are hoping for, coming from a developer on DeSo who has been building since the very start, but it's honest, and I think he brings up some really good points.
Yeah, you can always count on Salil to be brutally honest if he has to. And I think that his words mean a lot and that the core team should listen to what he has to say. Obviously, daily active users are floundering big time. But we'll see where this heads in the next few months.
Yeah, it could be
So
big.
So Lix, the Lix DAO, it's closed the funding round. They raised $7,390. They made a post saying this is just the beginning. Lix coins can now be purchased on the secondary market via DAO, of course. Um, really looking forward to seeing what Clay Oglesby, Nathan Wells, CFKY, and the team do with Lix NFT staking because I think that there's potential here and it's potential that could make DeSo stand out. And I'm excited. I think that obviously $7,400 or so isn't a whole lot of money to develop something big, but I think that the team that they have, Clay, Nathan, CFKY, I think they can do it and do it pretty efficiently. So we'll see what happens over the coming weeks. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. It's a super exciting project, something different. So, DeSocial World, they have announced that their hashtag feed is now live. So you can now search in the search box on DeSocial World, and it's going to cover both usernames and hashtags. So once you start typing, you're going to see both usernames and hashtags show up. You're going to be able to click on those hashtags, and then you can direct you to the feed for that hashtags. I love this idea. I think it's something that's needed in the space. The hashtags when you search are going to be shown based on the letters you type, like I said, but also they're going to be ranked on the most used on the DeSo blockchain. So congrats again to Ado Kovet and DeSocial World and all the great things you're doing. The continual iterations that come about on DeSocial World are amazing. Keep it up.
Yeah, this is a feature I wish that nodes had back last back in April or May of 2021 when we had thousands of daily active users. Right now it's great, but we don't have the number of users that really make it stand out. So as DeSo expands and grows, I'm glad that something like this is finally in place. I know other nodes have been working on stuff like this, but DeSo DeSocial World, amazing. Thanks for the updates.
Remember Tropics? Didn't Tropics have a hashtag
Clouded.
node?
It was
What was it?
clouded.com, I think.
It was actually really, really good, and that was in the very beginning of BitClout.
Yeah, yeah, he was showing it off in that Miami meetup, I think in what was it, May or June of
Yeah.
2021. And I just don't think they kept at it. I think that maybe the cost got out of hand. They didn't get any funding, and they had to let the project die off. But Tropics is doing really cool things within an NFT space across chains, uh, hosting all sorts of drop parties and stuff.
Yeah, and
Glad to
wasn't member? I think Member Cache also allows you to search for hashtags, and they're still around, I believe.
Yeah, I believe so as well. So another node that's doing a lot, of course, is Gem Story by Brutal. And Brutal posted a video of this update, which is playing right now. You can see it. You can now repost the same post as many times as you want. So this is really useful if there's a post that you made that you really like, that you might want to repost it every day or every week. It doesn't even have to be your own post. It can be anybody's post. Definitely a unique feature. The number of reposts even go up when you do it. But congrats to Brutal and Gemstory, another great feature. Uh, I, I think these little features from different nodes differentiate the nodes, and it just provides more tools to the end user.
Yeah, the video that he made really shows how this works, and it maybe people aren't going to be using it a ton, but maybe you will. Like if you like a post that was made like a while ago, and you just like a maybe one of Meta Philosopher's motivational quotes that you really like, and you just every few weeks you just want to repost it again without having to unrepost and then repost again. So great idea.
Yeah, and speaking of Meta Philosopher, he's absent in this list today. So the list of top NFT bidders on the DeSo blockchain over the last 24 hours, according to NFTZ, are Dragonstone, followed by Starry Collards, Clay Oglesby, Jigglers Are Coming, NFT Pets, Rhubarb, Shady Acres, Spunk Art, BitClout FR, and Visual Gulia.
So I wonder what jigglers are. I keep seeing jigglers are coming. What are they? It's
Well,
kind of
they're
scaring
coming.
me.
I know they're coming.
I kind of scares me. Like jigglers seem kind of frightening to me.
Yeah, I kind of see them as like half snake, half rat, and they're just like jumping out of from around corners and attacking things. I
Yes,
don't know.
I don't know either.
So let's get to the top 10 daily coin value gainers over the last 24 hours, according to Altumbase. And these people saw their social token, which is their creator coin on DeSo, increase the most in value because others have bought them along the bonding curve. And number one is Meta Philosophy, which we're still trying to figure out whether
Yeah,
this is
like
an
I think it's.
actual
I don't think it's
account.
really related to Meta Philosopher. I think it's kind of like a scam account trying to use that name, and maybe I think he might just be in this list because he's kind of messing with the system just so we mention him in these videos. I don't
Yeah,
know
maybe.
that. I'm just guessing maybe that's what's taking place here.
Number two is Peter N, followed by Noticeable Products, Shady Acres, Stranger of the Wicked, Blog of Jake, Happy Rabbit, Art of Surge, Yuchi, and Modu Algo.
Shady
Congrats.
Acres is like in every list every day.
Big time OG.
So I know there's a push to get him verified as well. So see what happens with that. So today's events, thanks to Miss Katie Ann, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, is Mario Nawfal's Twitter Spaces event. Special guest Pink Floyd, Scott Page. We know Scott Page. He's on DeSo. Um, Plus Gaming Guild's Deep Dive. They're giving away $10,000 yet again. They do that like for every one of these shows, which is phenomenal. It's 11 a.m. Eastern Time. At 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Entra is a community hangout with Sean Tron and Michael Morrow. That's again on joinentra.com. And at 7 p.m. Eastern Time is Job Networking on Vibe Hut with one Delinsky, vibehut.io. Check it out if you haven't already. So events are 11, 1, and 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Go to Miss Katie Ann's profile for a direct link to these events if you need to get there. And that's all the news we have for today. Everybody have a great rest of your Wednesday, and we will talk to you tomorrow.